Hi Scorpio, welcome to your December 2016 reading. Congratulations on making it to the end of the year. And I always love this forecast because we get a chance to see how everything wrapped up and a little bit of a peek into the new year. One thing that I wanted to impart on all viewers this month is just really to try to view others with an open mind and open heart. Given some of the world events and the negativity that's been in the press lately, I think that we could all work on our empathy. And I'll see if anything comes through with this, but one tip that I've been giving all signs this month is to really just listen before speaking, suspend judgment until you have all the information. And empathy is like a muscle that when exercised, it gets stronger, just like intuition. So I think if all of us can do that, it'll be a little bit brighter planet that we're on. So we'll see how that can work for you. Your channeled information was process, and what I like about this is two things. One, we were just talking about empathy. Empathy is at its best when you have time to let information sort of soak in, when you're not sort of having a knee-jerk reaction. So it directly connects to that message of opening up your heart, listening. But the other thing for you on a very practical level with process is I really think that this month you want to pay attention to your routine. If things are not working for you, it's time to sort of like reorder your routine, create a new process, see where there's opportunities to streamline things. That sounds very businessy, but it helps us even in our general day-to-day life if we can look at what is an effective use of time, maybe too much time spent watching movies or playing games or whatever it is. There's got to be some efficiencies there, and look at it practically like you would a business. So that's one thing that came through. All right, let's go ahead and shuffle the deck. For anybody that is new, I just want to say welcome. For anyone that's come before to this channel, I just want to say thank you so much for your support. For new folks, each month I will do a general reading like I'm going to do in a moment here, and then I also extend it out to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And that allows me to really get a good feel for whatever needs to come through, and then we make sure that we highlight all of those areas that I know everybody cares about quite a bit each month. After I've pulled these cards here for the Celtic Cross, I'm going to take one more card before we get started, and this card is a catalyst. Catalyst card is what really connects everything together over the given month, from the channeled information to all of the cards here. So your catalyst, the big sort of summary for this month, is courage. And if I read the card, it says, I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. So it's really two words, courage and confidence. And if we look at the color of this, it's really about relationships. This is around the third chakra, radiating out from the first and second chakras. And I also see just a little bit here that has to do with intuition. So courage does come from right here, and this is a month when even if you're not feeling courageous, you can sort of push it in there. Look at how you hold yourself, your posture, and if you even tighten up your core a little bit, you're going to have more sense of presence, and when you enter a room, people are going to feel that as well. All right, let's take a look now at all of the other cards and see how it all connects. So love is a central theme for you this month. We have the Two of Cups reversed, and when the card's upright, it usually means a very symbiotic relationship, harmony in friendships and love. When it's reversed, it means that there's going to need to be a little bit more work in intimate relationships. Again, whether they're romantic or not, it could be a little bit tricky. For those of you that are trying to date this month, this is still a promising card. It just means that, again, a little bit more effort on your part is going to be necessary to make the connections happen. I love that your center card is crossed by the Wheel of Fortune. What I see with this, again, is that the Two of Cups is then put in a more favorable light. Also, I feel like it's connected a little bit more to money and career than it is love. So you may be asked or called upon to work in several groups this month, or you might be asked to sort of partner up with someone who you don't know well. And the Two of Cups can be like a courtship card. So you really want to get a chance to understand and know that person, working on the empathy that we talked about, and just going for it and thinking, I can make this work, even though I don't know this person. We're gonna work together great. Four of Pentacles in reverse in the deep past. What I see that is many of you have been working hard to sort of like rebuild your foundation. So this could mean saving up to fund something new, whether it's buying a new house or starting a new business, but it's slow going, it takes time, and it is a lot of money that's going in, and you're not seeing where it's going to sort of like blossom. In fact, at the present, it's sort of causing you to look at your finances and be very careful and cautious. I've seen a lot of this month, actually. It's not surprising because we have holidays, a lot of travel, a lot of gift giving, but what this is saying is, be very careful and thoughtful about who you buy for, what you're going to purchase for these people, and then also how you're spending on yourself. If you don't go to extremes, you should have more than enough. Your crowning card is the Queen of Wands reversed, and that means that you want to trust your thought process. It seems like there could be a tendency perhaps for you to be stubborn this month, or perhaps you're in the presence of a very stubborn fire sign like an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. And the key to this is this person is striking me as a perfectionist. So if you're working with a perfectionist, find out what their tics are, what it is that they really care about, and try to meet them halfway and really come forward and do something that's sort of like polished, completely, if not perfect, you hit on those key points that they're always looking for. I do sense that there'll be a lot of work for the first 2 weeks of the month with the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands typically shows not significant progress. It's just busy. So it could be busy work, and you could interpret that as something that you may not want to engage with, but I think if you stick with it, we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed, it's going to open up new things. Everything this month is requiring a little additional effort and time, and that's why I think this word came through as well for you. Time to process things, also time for things to sort of like, I guess, blossom on their own, basically. So don't force things. In regards to money, all the reversals and also the lower pentacle cards here are saying you really want to focus on not overspending, not overreaching. And if there's a job opportunity that comes up, it could be delayed, and so you might want to do some homework to understand what the employer is looking for. And if you're already employed and thinking, how does this apply to me? This means that part of what you want to sort of focus on is coming in under budget. It looks like money is going to be a tight resource this month, so just be very cognizant of that, whether it's your own budget or your budget at work. As I look at your environmental card, we have the High Priest reversed, which is the Emperor. And what this is telling me is that there could be some limitations on your ability to sort of like speak up, try different things. The process that we're talking about there could actually be something that's institutionalized or sort of like corporate. So if you're working in a big company, there may only be one way to get it done, and they're not open to new ideas. What you want to try to do in that case is be as amicable as possible and open. Maybe, if you could talk to a coworker, it might be more helpful if there's a group of people that have the same idea, but just putting yourself out there on a limb could be something that may not work out the way you want. This also applies to love. And so since you have the Two of Cups at the center, I'll pull the camera down so you can see the spread. Since you have the Two of Cups at the center, then what I'm seeing here is a gradual, if we apply all of these to sort of love, what I'm seeing here is it's going to take time to find some common ground, whether you're in a new relationship or an older relationship. And what's important for you is that you're the one that's offering ideas, trying to plan events, going out on a date, taking care of your partner. So you'll be opening up a little bit, being the softer sort of one here. And this could also indicate that a new partner coming in would be a water sign like a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces. Reading much more like a Cancer because of the Moon card, which for me, you'll notice there's a little crab on here, but I always associate this with the sign of Cancer. When we're looking at this as an aspect of yourself, you're actually going to be in very high spirits around the middle of the month, and towards the end of the month, you may be able to channel some of that into creative endeavors. But one thing you want to avoid this month, particularly when it comes to superiors or authority figures in your life. So it can also be an aunt, uncle, a father or a boss, whatever. But whoever your authority figure is, try not to get into an argument with them, because whenever you see this like wolf and dog, basically they're on the same team. They may have come from different sides of the fence, but basically they're on the same side. So what you want to remind your superior is that you have their back, you understand what they're asking for, and basically just sort of listen and work with the constraints that you have. I think if you do that, you're going to be in a great place. One thing I want you to work on this month is stretching. I think you could be doing a lot of sitting down and could be stagnant. Especially want to watch your hips and yeah, any sort of activity that will allow for stretching and moving your legs. It's the lower extremities that I'm getting the most sort of tension in when I look at that card. And overall with money, although things are a little bit tight, I do feel like they're going to improve, and there may be at least one very strong opportunity that comes your way. If that does, you have to make sure that you have enough say in this job, because I think that there could be, for some of you that are job seeking, it may look good on paper, but it may not end up being that great in person. So if there's a way to test it out or talk to someone that works there, that's going to be really beneficial for you. So let's expand this forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, and then I'll summarize everything for you. So in regards to your health, which includes both, well actually it's three things, I think it's mind, body, and spirit. So for your health this month, I do think you'll be very busy, and if that happens, I don't want you to get so, as the word here says, submerged in a project or in your own work, even in a relationship, that you lose sight of what's going on around you. So getting out, stretching, and making sure that you talk to friends and other people, it's going to be really important. This isn't the month to be isolated, even if the weather does sort of feel cold and icy. It's a time to really make sure that you're active and that people are around you. That human touch is what's missing with this, and I think that's going to help you out. You also want to be careful if you are in a cold climate. This card is coming through just to warn you about sensitivity to the cold and avoiding things like frostbite or getting the flu because your resistance is, or cold because your resistance is down. All right, so let's now look at your wealth. So this comes up a lot for wealth, even though I shuffled the deck. So what I see when I look at the balance card is both projections and separation and balance. So in a work situation, as I said, you want to show the similarities between you and the other person versus the differences. And so the only thing that could get a little tricky is sometimes you don't want your problems to feel like theirs or theirs to feel like yours. You want to be able to separate so that they can solve their own things and you don't get pulled into the drama. So balance it out, be empathetic, but don't completely merge with this person and take on everything. So there's a happy sort of like line in the sand that you need to create so that there are professional boundaries, I guess is what I'm getting at. For romance, we saw a few cards here that indicated that love could come through, but it could be tricky. So we have this card showing separation. And that makes sense. Whenever there's a reversal, it could show that maybe one of you is traveling, or that if you meet someone, they could be from another state, another country. There's some sort of distance between you. And also, if you're in an existing relationship, there could just be a little bit of emotional distance. And if that's the case, what you want to ask yourself is, what can I do to help bridge that gap? All right, let's take a look now at your, this deck here. We'll take a look at your trajectory for destiny, which is sort of like not just where you're headed this month, but into next year as well. There's a big focus on home. And so feeling like you are at home where you live, possibly looking into home improvements, or because I see a lot of money cards associated with home, and usually the Ace of Pentacles is connected with that. So you may find yourself at a juncture where wherever you're living is no longer either up to code or up to your expectations. And this card says, take a look around, do what improvements you can, and maybe make a decision if it's time to sell or move. All right, so I'm going to summarize everything for you. I'll pull the camera down one more time and leave it down as I review. Two of Cups reversed, as well as the, let's see, there was one more card that was dealing with love. Oh yeah, the Princess of Cups, showing me that you're going to have to take active steps this month to kind of deal with any separation or anxiety or difficulties when it comes to relationships. I see most of that stress probably happening at work, and possibly from someone who has perfectionist or very stubborn viewpoints on how they want the job done. You're going to have enough money this month, you just have to be smart about it. Keep saving for your long-term goal. It looks like you're making progress, slow but steady. You're probably about 10 months away from a big shift if you wanted to start like a new job or take that money and invest it. I'm seeing it's probably next year. If you do decide to go for a new job before then, make sure that it's something where you actually have enough freedom and flexibility to be happy. And this month, it's really important to avoid conflicts. This card, though, is very good for artists. So if you have a creative project that you want to channel through, by all means do it. And I do see you in a very sort of happy state of mind around the 20th onward, sort of going into the new year. So it feels like the last 2 to 3 weeks of the month are pretty good for you. Remembering, again, that your channeled information was to take time to process things, to look at the processes in your life and see where there's efficiencies and opportunities. Your catalyst was to have the courage to make those changes when you're ready. Remembering, again, to take care of yourself, not to be too isolated. And also, if you are in a zone where there's inclement weather, to make sure that you're protecting your body and trying to keep your resistance high so that you don't get any colds or flus. When we look at work situations and money, it's actually about not just the balance we were talking about in your budget, but also balancing out relationships and making sure that you don't take on too much either debt or problems or issues from someone else at work or in your personal life. When we're looking at relationships, there probably is going to be either some literal separation or some sort of symbolic separation, some tension in your relationships. So it's up to you to have the courage to deal with that, to figure out what's worth talking about, trying to avoid arguments when and if possible. Finally, looking into next year, the home becomes very important. And one thing that I'll say about the home is that your environment around you absolutely has an effect on your energy, your prosperity, your ability to think and help others. So make sure the space feels good, it's clean, it's open, and it's something that you're happy in. All right, so that's all the information that came through for this month. It looks like you're in a good place, with the only constraints really being finances this month. And the challenge sort of in relationships seems completely like something that you're able to handle. You just have to be careful to not step on toes, and when and if possible, to just sort of like follow the process that might be in place at work so that you can avoid sort of getting in trouble or getting on someone's nerves if they're in an authority figure and they just have a way of doing things. So I'll let you figure out how that works for you, but it doesn't seem like this is going to be something that's going to cause a great deal of discomfort. You didn't get the Death card, the Tower, the Hanged Man, or anything that was really showing discomfort. It just shows that there's a couple of issues at work, that relationships will take a little bit more energy, but that there's a big creative outflow that's happening around the end of the month, which is going to allow you to, maybe you can paint a room, maybe you can work on writing something or doing something artistic, picking up a camera if you haven't done that in a while and taking some pictures, but find a way to basically channel your creative energy. All right, I hope that was helpful. If you ever want more one-on-one reading and have like questions, specific questions for me, I'll post the link in the corner and you can kind of check on my rates and availability. I'd be happy to help you out. Also, if you just want to keep in touch, the easiest way to do so is to click subscribe to this channel, but you can also sign up for my newsletter or join me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter if you prefer. Finally, if you found this really was useful and you'd like to support the channel, I put a little donate button that is optional, but if you want to help out, that'll be appreciated. Finally, and from the bottom of my heart, I'd just like to say that I hope that this has been a fantastic year for you, and I really hope that next year is even better. My goal every month is to give you the information that you need to feel comfortable and informed and ready for the challenges that await you. So thank you so much for your generosity, your kindness, all the kind likes and subscribes and encouragement that you've given me. I'd like to give it all right back and say thank you so much. Have a great new year, and I'll see you in January. Bye-bye.